Welcome. Today, we are exploring Domain 4 with a specific focus on business resilience and the Business Continuity Plan, or BCP. In a world of cyber threats, natural disasters, and supply chain disruptions, an organization's ability to survive depends not just on luck, but on rigorous planning. We will dissect the BCP lifecycle, the critical metrics like RTO and RPO, and the testing strategies that ensure your plan works when it matters most. Let's establish our foundation. Business resilience goes beyond just recovering from a crash. It is the capacity to adapt and withstand shocks while keeping the doors open. Central to this is the Business Continuity Plan, or BCP. It is crucial to distinguish BCP from DRP. Disaster recovery, or DRP, is technical. It's about getting the servers back online. BCP is operational. It's about ensuring the billing department can still collect revenue, customer service can still answer phones, and the business remains viable even if the main building is smoking ruins. The ultimate goal is survival. As auditors, we verify that these plans are not just documents on a shelf, but active frameworks that protect the organization's existence. This hierarchy illustrates the concept. Business resilience is the overarching umbrella. Underneath, we have the distinct pillars. The BCP focuses on business processes and revenue, keeping the money flowing. The DRP focuses on IT infrastructure, getting the lights back on. Crisis management handles the immediate safety and communication. All three must integrate perfectly to achieve true resilience. A robust BCP follows a structured lifecycle. It starts with initiation. Without executive sponsorship and a clear policy, your planning effort is dead in the water. Next is the Business Impact Analysis, BIA, which we will detail shortly. This is where you figure out what actually matters. Based on that analysis, we move to strategy development. Do we need a backup site? Cloud redundancy? Manual workarounds? Then we write the plan. But writing is not enough. We must have implementation and testing. A plan that hasn't been tested is just a theory. Finally, maintenance ensures the plan evolves as the business grows. As auditors, we look for evidence of every single step in this cycle. The BCP lifecycle is a continuous loop, not a straight line. We start at policy and initiation, move to the BIA and risk assessment to understand our needs. We develop strategies and document the plan. Then we train and test. The results of the testing feed back into the policy and analysis phases, driving continuous improvement. The Business Impact Analysis, or BIA, is the heart of continuity planning. You cannot protect everything. You don't have the budget. The BIA tells you what must be saved. We categorize processes. Critical means immediate revenue loss or safety risk. Non-critical can wait weeks. We use two lenses. Quantitative. How much money do we lose per hour? And qualitative. Will our brand reputation be destroyed? The output of the BIA dictates the recovery time objective, RTO. If the BIA says you lose $1 million an hour, your RTO had better be very short. If the BIA is flawed, the entire strategy is flawed. Here is the BIA data flow. We gather raw data from process owners. We feed this into the analysis engine, splitting into quantitative money and qualitative reputation streams. These combine to form the criticality ranking. What comes first? This ranking directly outputs your RTO and RPO targets, which are the technical specifications for your recovery strategy. You must master these acronyms. RPO is about data loss. If you back up at midnight and crash at noon, you lost 12 hours of data. Is that acceptable? That's your RPO. RTO is about speed. How fast can you turn the servers back on? WRT is often forgotten. Once the servers are up, how long does it take the staff to enter the pile of paper backlog? Finally, MTD, or MAO, is the cliff edge. If you are down longer than the maximum tolerable downtime, the business is insolvent. The golden rule for planners is your technical recovery, RTO, plus your manual catch-up, WRT, must effectively fit within the MTD. Visualize the timeline. The disaster strikes at the red line. Looking backward, the gray bar is RPO, the data we lost. Looking forward, the first bar is RTO, getting systems up. The second bar is WRT, catching up on work. The total time elapsed must not cross the final red bar, the MTD. If it does, the game is over. Once we have our metrics, we choose a strategy. It's a trade-off between cost and speed. A hot site is a mirrored copy of your data center. It's instant but expensive. A cold site is an empty room with power. It's cheap but takes weeks to configure. A warm site is in, the middle servers are there, but you need to load the data. We also see mobile sites, trucks, and reciprocal agreements, where you agree to share space with another company, though auditors warn against this, as a regional disaster might hit you both. You choose the strategy, where the cost of the solution intersects with the cost of downtime. This chart helps visualize the decision. Top right is the hot site, fast recovery, but high cost. Bottom left is the cold site, low cost but slow recovery. The warm site sits in the middle. Management must decide where their risk appetite places them on this chart. Writing the plan involves people, not just technology. The absolute first priority is life safety assets can be replaced, people cannot. We structure the response into teams. The Crisis Management Team, CMT, is the brain executives making big decisions and talking to the press. The Emergency Response Team deals with the immediate physical threat. Then we have functional teams like IT, HR, and legal to handle the logistics of recovery. A critical failure point is communication. If the phone lines are down, how do you call the team? We need redundant call trees and automated notification systems. Here is the command structure. The Crisis Management Team sits at the top. They direct the Emergency Response Team, focused on life safety, and the Recovery Coordinator. The coordinator then manages the tactical teams, IT, business ops, and logistics. This clear hierarchy prevents chaos during a crisis. A plan that isn't tested is guaranteed to fail. We use a graduated approach to testing, often called exercising. We start simple with a checklist review. Do we have the manual? Then a tabletop/walkthrough executives sit in a room and talk through a disaster scenario. Next is simulation, where we role-play specific actions without moving real equipment. A parallel test involves turning on the backup site and comparing data, but keeping the main site running. The ultimate test is the cutover or full interruption, pulling the plug on the main site. This is high risk and rarely done, but it's the only way to know for sure if you are ready. This staircase shows the increasing complexity and risk of tests. We start at the bottom left with checklist and walkthrough low cost, low risk. We climb up to simulation and parallel. At the top is full interruption, the highest confidence, but also the highest risk to operations. You must master the lower steps before attempting the top. Finally, we must maintain the plan. BCP is not a one-time project. It is a program. Change management is vital. If you upgrade a server but don't update the recovery manual, the recovery fails. Triggers for updates include staff turnover, new vendors, or regulatory changes. As auditors, we don't just read the plan, we check the dates. We review the lessons learned from the last test to see if the plan was actually updated. We look for a cycle of continuous improvement, moving the organization from a reactive state to an optimized, resilient state. This state diagram shows the maintenance cycle. The plan is created, then tested. Testing identifies gaps. These gaps feed back into updating the plan. Simultaneously, external change events, like a new server, also force a plan update. This continuous loop ensures the plan never goes stale.